So
both Eileen and I took Latin in high school, yes. And our teacher was kind of an elderly, quite a large lady. And she, what do you call it when their arm is, when they're born with this problem? But anyway, she had a little arm about like this. She'd hold a book like this with that little stubby arm. There weren't very many students took foreign languages. There was Latin, and there was French. But that was kind of it. But anyway, both Eileen and I took Latin at different times, of course. I think her name was Miss Brobeck, and I think she liked Eileen and I a lot. But Mom used to also sell eggs and maybe cream to her, I don't know, because I remember going there and delivering. But anyway.
You said she lived in an apartment.
Yes, she did live in an apartment. With, I believe the other lady, she wasn't a teacher, I think she just worked in a store. But anyway, I'm sure when I graduated and was going on to college, I got her to write me a recommendation. But anyway, when she wrote a recommendation for Eileen, the only thing she wrote down was, if I was ever sick and in a hospital, the one person I would really like to have as a nurse would be Eileen McKigney. And that's just all she wrote. And Eileen got into the nursing school.
In Rochester.
Yeah, in Rochester, Minnesota.
And it was St. Mary's.
St. Mary's. It was run by the Franciscan sisters. And it still is, because there was something I got that said that, yeah. And Eileen took her nurse's training there. When I went to work for Mayo Clinic, they staffed all the labs in the hospitals. There was only 2 hospitals at that time.
So the Mayo Clinic's in Rochester?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, that's what's famous. But anyway, so, but anyway, fortunate, well, it was nice, fortunate, whatever. But anyway, I could have been assigned to the other hospital, but I was assigned to St. Mary's. And Eileen, of course, was working there. And then we roomed together for a couple of years. But then
How big a lab was it?
They had various labs.
Oh, I see.
The one that I was in was like worked mostly with blood, but there was many labs, various kinds.
So did they call you out to draw blood?
Usually in the morning, there'd be lists there for you. If there was an emergency, well, they just tell you that, and you just go and do it. And they had the little boxes or whatever with all the equipment, and you'd walk.
Just carry it around.
Yeah.
So how many people in your department with the blood work?
I'm guessing 10. And even then, blood work was getting to be various types of blood work, so we probably were just doing one type of that.
I see, yeah. So you told me a story before, like Eileen, like the nurses had to wash all that equipment.
Yeah, they did.
What's an autoclave? Is it a sterilizer?
I think, yeah. Or they sterilize the...
So like hot water?
Well, I can remember it was steam, so it had to
steam.
start out with hot water.
So now tell me about Grandma's chickens.
I don't know too much about it.
Well, just said she had quite a few chickens.
Yeah, Mom had chickens every year. Most of the time, in the spring, they'd buy little chicks like at the I don't know, a farm store or something like that. And if the weather was cold, well, they would be in the house, and we had a stove with well, every stove has an oven, but you'd open it up, and the heat would come out, and you'd put the little chicks in their little boxes and chairs sitting in front of them until they could go outside. So you'd be living with little beep, 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 beep. Yeah.
So then you ate them the rest of the year? So was that, how old were they when Grandma would have them for Sunday dinner?
Well, you wanted them. They call them fryers, I guess. So I don't know. They're pretty young. They're not real young, but they're.
But enough that she'd buy new ones every year. Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. She might fill in with some more, but no. No, there's some chickens you'd have for quite a while, especially when they became pets. You know.
So what was it? He said she named her chickens. What was?
I can't remember that because she named her cow. I could never remember all of her names.
That's funny.
Yeah, she liked the farm. She was like Kelly. I don't think she was ever fond of housework. Although she worked at it. When I would go into other houses and see them and then compare them to our house. It was like Eileen, no, let's see, it was Peggy used to complain about, let me see if I can get this straight. Something about the house anyway.
Are we talking about Peggy Walters?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I'll think of it somebody, I can't think of it now. But even though it was something to the effect that even though you complained that your house wasn't clean, it was much better than others. And this was when Peggy was in high school probably, so it was.
Yeah, so she,
yeah. Because I'm sure Eileen, although she did the best she could, she wasn't able to keep her house up like she really would like to all of the time, but evidently Peggy understood. She didn't.
Oh yeah, Peggy's house is very clean. And before they leave, whatever the house they're at, then you clean everything, so the next person would have a clean house. But when you and Eileen lived together, you said you did the cooking and she did the cleaning? Is that right? So she didn't like cooking, even worse.
No. Yeah, that was our agreement. She would clean and I would cook.
And if you were too bad of a cook, then she would have took over your job.
I'm sure she would have. She was the boss. I was second, whatever you call it.
You're the second lieutenant?
But that's what I needed. I needed a stronger person, and she was it. We always got along pretty well. Although one time she asked me, she said, "Do you remember when I slapped you?" And I didn't, of course. I didn't remember, and I don't know what it was all about, but anyway.
What did she say?
I don't know.
Explain?
I don't know, no.
Well, it mustn't have been too much if she would have remembered it.
Well, sometimes you do things and then you feel badly that you did it, and I think there's a car slowing up. No, maybe not. Maybe not. No, it's going over to the next one. It's a red car. Oh, there it goes, taking off.
Not for us, huh?
I guess not.
I guess I should rinse these off. Are we through, or do you want more stories about chickens?
No, I've kind of run out of chicken story.